Welcome to Module 1. Now in the BRAC Microenterprise Credential, we use modules to organize our content and resources. The module's numbers just tell us where it's located. Think of it as like a chapter of a book. But unlike a chapter of a book, these modules don't necessarily have to be done sequentially. It just tells us which module we can find that resource. The first module is going to be the Credential Overview. This module is just intended for the teacher and helps give you an overview of the resources and requirements for the credential. Within each module, the resources are numbered to assist you in locating them. The numbering system is composed of two numbers. The first number, the 01, just indicates that this resource is found in Module 1. The second number, 01, tells you that this is the first resource listed underneath Module 1. Again, these resource numbers don't always determine that they are sequential. It's just a way of numbering them so we know where to find them, and so they can be easily organized for you to reference by content type. Within Module 1, we have a couple resources for helping you get an overview of what the BRAC Microenterprise Credential is. So 0101 is just a list of all the resource index. So all the resources will be listed on the 0101 with the numbers showing you where you can locate them. This is a great resource to have available, and I usually print this one out to keep on my desk. 0102 is an overview of the Regional Microenterprise Credential. We'll talk a little bit more about it in just a second. 0103 is the Microenterprise Credential Course Options. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the Microenterprise Credential is designed to be able to be implemented in lots of different ways in different school settings. Some schools teach this in an alternative school. Some schools teach it in the traditional business course of entrepreneurship. Others embed portions of the credential across multiple courses. This really depends on your district and your school and how they want to utilize the credential and which credentials they're wanting students to earn. My recommendation is to always go with to utilize the content in an Entrepreneurship 1 course. But that is not a requirement. It can be taught in Business English, it can be taught in Home Ec, it can be taught in barbering or beauty schools, so it fits a lot of different places. And so just be aware of how your district and your school is wanting to utilize this credential and look for those options on 0103. 0104 is a very important one to review, and it gives you the relevant policies and procedures about the BRAC Microenterprise Credential. And then 0105 is a letter to parents and an information release form. Be sure to consult with your school and your district policies for communication with parents, as well as with the information release form. Your district or school may already have something in place, and this is just intended to be a guide or resource for you if there's not something already in place for your district. So let's talk about why we teach the BRAC Microenterprise Credential. I think it's important before we start diving into the content to understand why this credential exist. First, there was a lack of communication skill and workplace behavior to be effective on the job for students that were graduating high school. This was feedback that was received by the Baton Rouge Area Chamber from member organizations as they were consulting with them. So the BRAC and the Louisiana Department of Education agreed that the Microenterprise Credential had to be attainable by all students. If we were going to require every student in Louisiana to graduate with a credential on the Jumpstart pathway, then we had to have a credential that could be attained by any student. And so the BRAC Microenterprise Credential was created. There's 3 levels currently of the BRAC Microenterprise Credential. We have the regional, the statewide, and a complementary credential. We'll talk more about this as we go through the next modules. The Microenterprise Credential will give students the workplace skills they need to succeed on the job and the academic foundation they need to continue their education. And the Microenterprise Credential is developed for students of all interests and capabilities. There are no computational requirements to attain the regional level of the industry-based credential. Again, this course is designed for students that are planning to go to college, students that are wanting to go straight to work, students that are interested in starting their own business. The concepts that they will learn will be important in decision-making and the application process of future job opportunities. So this course is really for any student and all students that are interested in improving their skills in these areas. So our student objectives, what we want the students to be able to do is, first, we want them to master critical workplace behaviors and communication skills. We want them to learn how to access credit, and most importantly, what the different types of credit cost. We want them to learn how to process critical small business forms and paperwork, and then learn the essential financial concepts and terms, the language of business. So the goal is that teachers who earn the Regional Microenterprise Credential become a professional learning community that continues to evolve and upgrade resources. 0104 goes over relevant policies, and these are important to know and be aware of. The BRAC guidelines stipulate that students in the 9th through 12th grade can attempt the complementary and regional levels of the credential. But students may not attempt the statewide microenterprise credential until they have entered the 11th grade. Students who graduate by the microenterprise pathway may not double dip. Students that are under Jumpstart prior to 2.0 had to earn a regional and a complementary credentials. The complementary microenterprise credential could not serve as a supporting credential for the regional credential, as it was part of the regional credential as well. The statewide microenterprise credential, which is worth your school performance score 110 points, also requires the student to earn the regional core microenterprise credential. I get this question a lot. Yes, students must earn the regional core microenterprise credential before they earn the statewide microenterprise credential. They are stair-step credentials for Baton Rouge Area Chamber, and so they must earn both of them. They can be taught in the same year, same semester, same course, but a student earning the statewide microenterprise credential must first earn the regional microenterprise credential. Some relevant procedures. These are the things that are required to be completed and the documents that must be maintained. The students must complete the self-assessment. You need to create a portfolio to keep a copy of some of these documents. The self-assessment round 1 and round 2 are portfolio documents, and a copy of the report should be printed out and maintained for the student for up to 2 years or up to 1 year after graduation. Self-assessment presentation. You need to print out the PDF of the mentor student completion checklist. This is a portfolio required activity. The credit application and company registration are required activities, but you do not have to have supporting documentation in the portfolio. The certification exam will be taken in the question mark platform, and the verification of a passing score must be indicated on the tracking form with the date the exam was taken. Also, with the certification exam, it's very important that appropriate security and proctoring apply just as any high-stakes test or exam. The 0105 is the parent letter and release form. You can use this letter to introduce parents to the credential because they may or may not be familiar with this if this is a new course to be offered at your campus. Be sure to check with your principal and district guidelines to make sure it is appropriate to send this letter. So as we get started, you're going to use the discussion board to share with our group a brief one-paragraph description of the BRAC Microenterprise Credential and the goals of the Regional Industry-Based Credential. Feel free to utilize the content from Module 1, Implementing the Microenterprise Credential Resources, in this discussion board.